Joining us now is Joe Ferullo, the CEO and publisher of the National Catholic Reporter. Thanks so much for being with us.
Hi, I'm not a Wordle fan, but good for you people. That's why.
I feel like it just makes him more relatable, right?
Yeah.
And Joe, I have to tell you,
absolutely.
everybody in the studio this morning, Sheba's loving his New Orleans ties.
Right.
My parents are originally from Chicago. We've got Paul, who is an Eagles fan. He thinks because he went to Villanova that the Pope might be one too. Yeah, and we're all trying to get our little piece of him.
Absolutely. I think that's the reaction of a lot of people around America, that there's something about him that we can all relate to, just given the fact that he's American. But the Midwest, the Chicago of it all, Villanova, I mean, these are all iconic American things. So I think we all feel like we have a little piece of him.
Absolutely. One of the things we had been asking you about in the days leading up to this, we kept saying, there's never been a pope from the U.S. There's never been an American pope. He wasn't really in the top list of final contenders. How surprised were you yesterday?
You know what? Not to brag, we were not surprised at the National Catholic Reporter. He was on the front runner.
Okay, I stand corrected.
So we were not that surprised. But I will say this: we picked him as a possible pope, as a front runner, because he seemed like a very good compromise candidate. Very pro-Francis in the way he thinks about the church and continuing what Francis has done in his papacy, but moderate in his personality and in his approach to leadership, that I think made moderates and even some conservatives in the church comfortable with him as a choice.
Well, I was reading, his brother said that his priest came up to him just last week and said, hey, the odds in Vegas are 18-1.
Yeah.
So apparently if you were betting on him, you made some money. Can you talk just about the choice in the name Leo and what that could potentially signal? Because, I mean, obviously there have been he is now the 14th Leo, so you could take pieces from a number of them.
Yeah, I mean, that's actually a very, very big deal. Popes always try to choose a name that reflects a past pope and how they may consider and move on with their papacy. So he's Leo XIV. Leo XIII was pope in the 1890s and was known as the Pope of the working class and the social justice pope. He was the first pope to sort of speak out about the abuses of the industrialized era. He was pro-union at a time when that was not very popular. He wrote an encyclical about the dignity of work and how people deserve to be paid a decent wage for a decent day's work, enough that they can raise a family and live in peace and harmony. Those were radical ideas in the 1890s. And so it's fascinating that that's who this Pope Leo has chosen, and where that sense will take him over the next few years.
Absolutely. And overwhelmingly yesterday, I think there was just so much excitement, as we were saying, for many different reasons around him. Talk about some of the challenges he faces and any criticism you've seen about him that you think will become addressed in the next few months.
Well, I think the challenges he faces, the challenges that any pope faces, which you run this international organization, this global organization that has so many different parts. So trying to run it as a cohesive unit is always tough. He faces financial challenges, and I think that's one reason why they chose an American who had a reputation for being a good manager and has a math degree from Villanova, that he can maybe get his hands around the financial challenges of running the Vatican better than previous popes have. It's been an ongoing challenge. That's one thing I think he has to deal with looking forward. In terms of bringing the various parts of the church together, again, I think he's the best bet. I think he's something of a moderate, and certainly in his personality, he's more pastoral and calm than the tango dancing Argentine, Pope Francis, and might be someone that more people can get around.
Well, I do want to ask you, though. I was seeing, various reports yesterday, too. He's not a political figure, but he will find himself in conversations, obviously, especially as an American in this country, when it comes to politics, and seems to be at odds with the president over immigration. So how do you sort through that? And does this become then an American problem throughout the world?
It's interesting. I mean, he, like a good American, is pretty active on social media. So you can kind of track what he feels and how he feels through his social media account when he was a cardinal and a bishop. He retweeted an NCR essay criticizing J.D. Vance over his stance on migration. After the Sandy Hook school shooting in Connecticut in 2017, he retweeted comments from a Connecticut senator saying, hey, enough of thoughts and prayers. Let's really crack down on gun ownership. So he's made his views pretty much out there. That is going to conflict with the current administration in Washington. Now, again, he's in a different role than he was as a cardinal or a bishop. He has to really try to get people to come together and talk. He speaks now for the entire world, not just for America or for Latin America, where he spent a lot of his life. So we'll see. But that's going to be another challenge for him, is how he approaches the administration in Washington right now.
I will say it was very nice yesterday to have, whether you were Catholic or not, whether you were Republican or Democrat, whatever you were joyful about this. It was nice to collectively kind of support somebody again. So Joe, thank you so much for being with us.
It was great seeing you guys again. Take care.
Thank you, Joe.